Whoa, hello everyone. Hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. Sorry about that. This is the Walt Wines live Instagram tasting. This is our virtual happy hour, our SIP, our shelter in place happy hour. So I'm super excited to have everyone that's joining us as they're coming in. Today we're going to actually change things up a little bit. We're going to host this in the tasting room because crossing our fingers, we are going to be ready to open and host guests on a limited fashion, maybe starting as early as this weekend, but if not, definitely in the coming weeks as we're starting to get prepared. For those of you who have never been to our tasting rooms, I'm at the Walt tasting room in downtown Sonoma. So for those people who saw me come in, they saw the outside of the tasting room. I'm actually sitting in the front room. We anticipate to actually be outside. And so we're hoping that everyone comes and enjoys themselves in a safe and fun manner. It's going to be really incredible. For those of you who are just starting to open the wines, today's wines we're going to feature is the 2017 Walt Sonoma Coast Chardonnay and our 2018 Gaps Crown Pinot Noir, both from the Sonoma Coast. Gaps Crown just released. Sonoma Coast is actually almost sold out. So this will be kind of a fun tasting of the coming and the going. But before I get started with our first guest, or our guest today, I wanted to just give a huge shout out to those on the front line that are keeping us fed, that are keeping us safe, and that are keeping us well. Specifically, I'm calling Caitlin Hurley. So I've now done all three sisters. I have three nurses in California. Thank you girls so very much for keeping us safe. I invite all of you up when we can get open, which hopefully will be really, really soon. So for today, I have a very special guest. There's no other way to open a tasting room than to invite somebody who can help you clear the air, can help you get things back to a base where everyone can enjoy themselves. And for that, I reached out to Patti Negri. She's a medium, she's a psychic. She's been on several television shows. She's been on several movies. Basically, if you're in LA and you need a professional, Patti is your person. I think she's ready for me to join our Instagram. Oh, wait, there she is. I see her coming on. She's using the magic of the internet right there. It is.
Ah!
Hi. How are you?
Hi, I am excellent. Thank you so much for having me on. I am thrilled to be here. It's
That's
sip
great.
hour. I love it.
Yeah, the SIP hour. So we've been sheltering in place for the better part of about 8 weeks now here in Sonoma, and we thought SIP, shelter in place, would be no better way to talk about hanging out and drinking wine. So thank you so much for joining me today. Where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from Hollywood, California.
Hollywood,
Hollywood. I'm in the
California.
hills, literally in the shade of a Hollywood sign.
Are you serious? My
Yeah.
cousin Chris always takes pictures from the Hollywood sign. I've never been. It's a hike I gotta make.
It is a great hike. I actually work out like every single day at Lake Hollywood. We have a reservoir up there. You would never guess you were in the middle of Hollywood because it's pine trees and
Yeah.
deer. 2 minutes from Hollywood and Vine, literally under the Hollywood sign. So,
Can you picnic out there?
well, you can sort of picnic out there. They're just reopening too, just like you guys.
Okay.
It's just now you can't picnic yet. You got to keep moving and wear a mask. But
Okay. So I'll just bring my wine bottle Bota bag.
yeah, bring your wine bottle. Though
And
if you hike up to the sign, I think you could picnic there and
okay. Well,
go for it.
anywhere I can have a nice glass of wine and a beautiful vista, you can count me in. That's where most of our vineyards are.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming today. So I wanted to start by pouring you a glass of wine, if that's all right, because
Okay.
we have to.
Yeah,
It's a
please.
happy hour, right? We got to do some work and we got to do some fun. So I'm going to start you with our 2017 Sonoma
Oh,
Coast Chardonnay. So I know
okay.
that thank you for posting about Blue Jay. That's another terrific wine, but we're going to stay to the Sonoma Coast about an hour and a half south. So what I'm going to do is if you want to put your glass up,
Okay.
I will. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. And is that
Yeah. Oh,
good? I
yeah.
like a full glass. So
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you.
excellent.
That's perfect.
Pour
Perfect
myself
glass.
a little. Cheers to
Yay.
you.
Here's to you. That's beautiful.
Cheers to a little bit more space and just a little bit more, attachment with people. So 2017 was a wonderful year. It was a fabulous year for Chardonnay. The wine that I've got in my glass right now, I apologize, is not that brilliant apple. I actually poured a little Pinot Noir when I was tasting ahead of time. So you've got a better picture of what that looks like. But I love the refreshing, fresh characteristic of our Chardonnays. Megan and Allison, who are our winemakers, have been really working on this for the last few years. And what they've come up with is a great style of Chardonnay that has great acidity, great flavor, and just a nice brioche toast on the finish. So I'm not sure how much wine do you drink? Do you normally have wine on the table at dinner?
We do. My husband, even though I've been on MasterChef and all sorts of cooking things, my husband is actually the cook of the family. So
That's not how I read it.
He is. It's great. So he calls me down to dinner, and he loves pairing wines and food.
Okay.
That's what he made. I don't even remember what he made, but that's the first time when we had your Blue Jay, it was like, oh my God, this is good. So I couldn't wait to taste this one. These are beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, no.
But we have a winey house.
Okay, good. Okay, but I also heard you're quite a chef, so I'm not going to let you just have that one. For the purpose of today, what we really wanted to do, and thank you for coming on, we have a tasting room that hasn't seen anybody in it. We have no energy. We've kind of left in a weird spot where we weren't sure if we were going to close, so it has a lot of negative. We're kind of all pent up right now. And I heard you're an expert in cleaning and refreshing energy within our spaces and within your home. And I know you've done that for a number of celebrities. I know you've done that on a lot of different shows. You were nice enough to send me this entire smudge kit, which I thought was really cool. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I hope you would help me out with that today. That's all right?
Of course. I would love to. I'm so glad you're doing that. And think of it. It's the energy of a space, whether you have ghosts or no ghosts, is just as important as everything else. We take the time to clean, we take the time to paint and decorate, but honestly, the energy is what people are going to notice first with everything. So I sent you something very simple, basic sage. So here's a couple tips as you go. What this is doing and how I work is very elementally. It's all about balance. We're working with the 4 elements. Air, fire, water, and earth. The sage itself is the earth. The burning it, we put in the fire. The water is in the wine, and the air is with the smudge stick and the feather going through it. Okay. So the first step you're going to do is I would set up an intent for everything that you're going to do. We're going to do this in 2 phases. I know you already know. I would usually do 3 phases. You feel it going, okay, it's been closed up. We haven't had people. There's been uncertainty. So that's what the place feels like. So that was our first round. Now we're going to go counterclockwise. Whenever you're clearing a place, always go counterclockwise. It's star-wise versus sun-wise. It's a science thing. It's a magical thing. So whether you're going counterclockwise with your hand, around the room, around the space. Okay. And the first time through counterclockwise, we just want to get rid of everything. Any uncertainty, any fear, any spirits, any portals that were opened, any cobwebs, energetically or not. So the first thing you're going to do.
I would say I'm drawing a lot of similarities to how we think about wine. We want to be sterile. We want to be fresh. We want to be very vibrant. We want to do things in a methodical way so that we don't make any mistakes towards the end. And then you used the word balance. So at the end, it's all about how we balance the wine. So thank you.
Everything is about balance.
I'm tracking.
So we are going to do it. But before we think about all the things you're going to add in, the first time, the counterclockwise is thinking what you're going to let out. Lack of balance, not enough humans in the place. So whenever you're ready, you can light your sage, again, with this intent that you are clearing and smudging.
I heard this. The city of Sonoma allowed me a very special permit today to let me do this.
Isn't that nice, city of Sonoma? I know. It's okay. So now you have a feather. You have a feather. So smell and smudge yourself a little, Jeff. Smudge yourself a little. It's really good for cleansing your whole. Smudge yourself. Yes. Okay.
All
It's,
right.
I don't,
I've,
it's really, it clears your aura, even though
okay.
it really does. So
All
now
right.
what you're going to do, whether you do it from here right now, you would counterclockwise as much as you can without going crazy. You're
Okay.
going to go around the space going, I'm just getting rid of energetic cobwebs. I'm getting rid of lack of balance. I'm getting rid of
Okay.
fear of no customers. I'm getting rid of fear of disease. I'm getting
Uh-huh.
fear of, and just pushing it in nooks and crannies and above your head and below
Okay.
your head. Yeah,
Okay.
smudge, smudge, smudge. You're going
Okay. So
around.
I've just smudged this area, and then I could, come back
Yeah, wander
here, right?
around.
I'm in a, is this okay?
Yes,
And
that
then
is perfect.
I'm coming
Smudge,
over
smudge,
here
yeah,
to the
smudge,
corner of
smudge,
our
smudge.
room, and I just
Perfect,
feather. Is that right?
perfect. Exactly
Okay.
right.
It smells
You're
really
a
nice, by the way.
natural born smudger, Jeff. I
Okay,
like
I'm off I'm off the picture now, and now I'm coming
it.
back. So I've done a full lap
A full lap of smudging.
of
Now, other
smudging.
things that you can do, again, we're keeping this simple and short, but somebody else could do things like, if you don't have even smudge, you could, and another kind of incense, you could hit pots and pans together. We're causing
Uh-huh.
a shakeup. We're cleansing and causing a shakeup.
Okay.
Mugwort, all sorts of things. But sage is a really good go-to. The one thing about sage for everybody is it's really strong. It gets
Mhm.
rid of everything. It gets rid of the good and the bad. So
That was the
we're
one thing
leaving it.
I heard about. I need to now re-energize.
You need to re-energize
I
because
gotta
what
throw an
happens.
energy back, right?
Yeah, because what so happens with so many people is they go, I smudged the house, I staged the house, it felt so good, but it doesn't feel so good because it almost creates a vacuum. Even with that simple little thing you did, it's like dusting your house and then leaving
Okay.
the doors and windows open in a sandstorm. So
All right.
now we're going to go clockwise as much as you can,
Okay.
and with positive and what I would say is something that makes noise. I often use a chime or a bell. What do you have that can make a little bit of noise?
So we cheers.
Nothing better for a
So,
winery.
so what I'm doing right now is trying to bring in the exciting energy of people
Yes.
together, knocking
Yes.
their
So,
glasses together.
so now you're going to go around and think
Okay?
about people laughing, people drinking, happy people, safe people, comforted people. Yes, dance along with it. You could bring in color, the color of a beautiful grape, the
We
color
have
of the
colors for
field.
every appellation. We have green and
Yes,
blue here, and red and yellow, and other colors. Our
every color of
labels
the
are very
rainbow.
colorful.
So you're
Okay.
pulling it in, you're pulling it into the space. Now, honestly, even with that simple, don't you feel a little bit different? Doesn't it feel
Okay.
a
Clearly,
little
I
bit more?
feel different.
It's amazing what it can do. Um, so, and you can do that regularly, even like when you open the winery once a week. It's like, okay, let's clear this place. Let's go run through a sage, and now let's go run through clicking our glasses together.
Yeah.
Again, if
Yeah.
anybody else, and I highly recommend wine glasses to do it with
Yeah.
anybody. But again,
Just
drums,
soft.
chimes,
Hmm.
bells. You could even bring a candle through. How's
Okay.
bringing light into the space?
Yeah.
And what you can do at your door is like, if you're picture people coming in, beautiful happy clients and customers and winemakers. What comes into this window? Oh, inspiration and fresh air. What comes into this barrels of wine and these glasses? Again, cheers and happy people. Intent is everything. I'm a big believer of that mind, body, spirit. You set it
Yes.
up, you take action, and you put the magic within it. And what you just did was the magic within it.
Well, thank you very much. So Catherine Hall just actually commented that she thinks that I'm different now. So I think if anything, what we've succeeded is definitely changing me, and I feel more definitely more refreshed now. So
You
cheers
look
to
more
you.
balanced. Cheers to
Thank you.
you.
I seek balance. Every day is a different day. It's a lot like Groundhog Day. So anytime I can find some balance and some actual foundation in my life, this is a good day. So I what I've said to a few other guests before is I meet some of the coolest, greatest people through these tastings because oftentimes when I'm traveling through the country, I'll get a chance to meet some fun people and we'll share a glass of wine. But this ability to do our shelter in place happy hours has really allowed me to extend that, to meet people that you would never dream of meeting. Or and so thank you for this. This is great. For those of you who are looking forward to coming back to Sonoma, we are good to go. Everything is ready and set up for you.
Clean, clear, balanced, no negative energy, no imbalance, no ghosts.
No ghosts. Yeah, someone commented on the ghosts, and I don't see any ghosts. So
I didn't see any ghosts.
no, I don't think they exist. So and they definitely won't be outside. So come hang out.
You don't think they exist anywhere?
Well, no, but my kids are watching, so ghosts don't exist. So we're
Ghosts don't
exist. We can talk about that offline.
Ghosts are not bad, though. The thing, it's not what you see on horror films. Most people are good. Most ghosts are good. And kids usually see them. Kids are the ones who do. So, watch this, kids.
I think maybe the spirits may have interrupted me there. Sorry about that.
I think they did.
I'm not necessarily sure what.
That's how it worked.
They did really quickly. But we popped back. Evidently, they wanted to say hi. They were a little angry at me. I will make my way around the room and refresh their energy. And if it's okay with you, I'd love to pour you another glass of wine. Is that all right?
I would love that.
So you were a big fan of our Blue Jay, as I had mentioned. And
Yeah.
I apologize. I've got a few things here, a couple tricks. So this is Gap's Crown. And so if you've got another glass, or if you've finished your Chardonnay glass, I'd love to taste you on this wine.
Yeah, I got one.
This is the 2018, which means it was grown 2 years ago. And if you want to just put your glass up, I'll go ahead and there you go.
Ooh, nice big one.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go. Well, you know.
Ooh, yeah.
It is happy hour. I don't have any plans on going anywhere anytime soon. So I've
Me neither.
the house to finish, you know. So cheers.
Cheers.
Red wine to our spirits that interrupted us for a moment. Sorry about that.
It's because you said you didn't believe in ghosts.
Probably, like, boom. They were just on it. They're like, no, we're here. We're watching over you.
Yep. Skeptics fall the hardest.
Exactly. So this is Gap's Crown. So that means this is a vineyard. So this is a vineyard that's actually at the top of a mountain. And we didn't have a chance to really take too many pictures earlier because I was still trying to understand the shelter in place and how we were going to get the energies out. But this is the vineyard here. You can see it's kind of a rolling, this is a better photo. This is a hillside vineyard. This is actually staring at the same place that we just had Chardonnay from. It's a pristinely farmed space. It's owned by the Price family, and there are several great winemakers that actually have the opportunity to buy fruit from Gap's Crown. But it makes a wine that tends to have, for Pinot lovers, a little bit more concentration on the palate. So it's a little bit more full and structured, tends to be a little bit more broad, and it has this really regal appeal on the mid-palate. While all at the same time, that's okay, we can get through this. At the same time, it tends to have nice vibrancy, nice freshness, and good acidity. And so it lives in an area where we have, just like our Bob's Ranch, for those who are tuning in and have seen this show before, this is 8 miles due east from Bob's Ranch. So it lives in that Petaluma wind gap where we get a lot of small berries and large berries on the same cluster. So it's called milandrage in French, or chicks and hens. And it's a lot of those little berries that gives it a pop of flavor, and then the large berries give it the acidity that you have. So that's an easy way for you to kind of discuss your wine with all of the celebrities and the stars that you share your time with. You can talk to them about chicks and hens and milandrage. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. And it's a great vineyard. So I think we had a couple questions. In fact, we have quite a few questions.
Okay.
If that's okay, I'm going to start with the easy one. When do you predict that we'll be able to open our tasting room?
Very, very soon.
All right. I like that.
I think it will. And I think it's going to have a renewed verve and renewed, we've been so starved for things. It's going to be like the 1920s all over again, in a sense. The roaring 20s, after all they went through and their pandemic back then. It's going to be people, wine, women, song, joy, and happiness, and the appreciation of fine wines. And so it's going to be good, and soon.
Yes, I think we'll be back soon. interesting question for me. We got this that actually came from the internet. So I was going to ask you about how you became a medium and how you realized that you had this talent and how you were able to connect with spirits. And is this something anybody can do, or is this something that you've really honed specifically as a talent?
Well, I have honed and studied it my entire life, but I was born with it, and I think everyone's born with it. When I
Oh,
was literally a toddler, I knew that those so-called imaginary friends little kids have were not imaginary. They were real beings and spirits. The person in the closet, the person under the bed. Guess what? Sometimes they're real, and it's not bad. It's not negative. I literally did my first seance when I was 7 or 8. And
oh,
I didn't even, I just kind of knew. I even knew what herbs to pick in the backyard to give my mother prosperity. It's just
uh-huh.
born in us. But we live, uh, our Western modern society is a very non-mystical world. Even our religion isn't mystical or spiritual, but it
Hmm.
gets taught out of us. But everyone can redevelop it. So again, I've just thought everybody could talk to spirits and dead people and see energy within the room. And I still believe that they can. We just have to relearn.
So we were using sage, and we have a backyard. So that in Sonoma, we actually that's where the majority of our guests sit
Mhm.
is in a backyard. It's I know you're not here, and it's tough to explain, but it's surrounded by an oak tree that actually split a long
Mm.
time ago. So it has two trunks from the same tree. What should we be planting in the backyard to preserve this energy and to preserve the spirits that we want, the high tone spirits?
Well, stuff that would be really good. Actually, rosemary is
Hmm.
one of the easiest things that you bring in beautiful, happy people. It's warm, it's loving. Rosemary is good. That can grow anywhere because I don't know areas. I'm not
Yeah, no, we can
a
grow rosemary.
botanist or horticulturist, but rosemary would be beautiful. Even mint would be great if you could grow mint somewhere around the thing. I don't again know if you have the right place to do it.
Hmm.
Um, geraniums will help
Oh,
bring in people, will help bring in people and get rid of mosquitoes. I don't know if you have a mosquito problem,
no,
but
but
you have
but
to
we want to bring in people. So
you want to bring in people.
I think we're gonna have to start planting some geraniums like ASAP
So
and
yeah,
bring them in.
yes,
Yeah.
it's there's you could it's easy to look up. You could have somebody go magical properties or spiritual properties of this or that. It's
Uh-huh.
amazing. It works anyways, whether we know it or not. But then once we know it and we have that personal intent there, it's like amazing. Certain things you put at the front when people are driving in, certain things
Hmm.
that you do. But I would start with that. I would go
Yeah.
with rosemary and mint and geraniums.
And
They will
geraniums.
look beautiful. They will smell good. Lavender for softness. It's
Hmm. Yeah, we have lots of lavender actually surrounding the Northern California area. Mint is
really.
the only thing, just for you to be aware, that will actually invade your palate in a negative way. So if you're cooking with mint and you're trying to pair it with wine, typically mint has a kind of a turn off. And so one of the dirty
Mm.
little tricks that tasting rooms sometimes play on their guests is they give them a mint cookie at the end of a tasting because at that point they can't really taste anything anymore and they just stop drinking. So I just wanted to, if you see a mint cookie, you know
Ooh,
they're
it's a
trying to
secret.
show you the door and you can cast a
A,
spell to get another glass.
a winemaker's secret. That is really good. But mint is
Yes,
really good for prosperity and joy and happiness. That's so interesting about the palate, though.
it
See,
is.
that's
Yeah.
magic. That's what magic is. I look at what you guys do with the wines. With okay, it's earthy, it's not earthy, it's
Hmm.
fruity, it's not fruity. It's all these things. It's magic.
It's just part of, I mean, the magic of winemaking is something that I reserve for the experts. So we have Megan and Allison, and they travel from as far north as the Willamette Valley all the way to the Santa Rita Hills, checking out all these different vineyards. And that's what's so special about Pinot Noir is that opposed to some other varietals that grow Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Noir is very specific to a certain growing climate. It likes a cool climate with wind and fog. And then it also tends to pick up the soil flavors so that whatever's in the earth becomes part of the wine. I guess it's very hippie that way, but this is what Pinot Noir is all about. And so what we've been doing at Walt and is actually bottling specific vineyards all the way down the coast. We call it a 1,000-mile trip of Pinot Noir. And those wines are sometimes the same type of grape, the same type of vine, and they taste different only because they're grown somewhere else. So it's an interesting things to, it's just an interesting story about Pinot Noir. I want to get back to the celebrity angle though, because a bunch of people are starting to ask me about that. So you worked with Emma Stone, you worked with Ryan Reynolds, I mean, like some of my very favorite, Sylvester Stallone, I think you've worked with. So give me a fun story. So you've made me a believer today. I had no idea what I was doing, but give me a fun story about a celebrity that you turned on to this, you know, a way of bringing energy into their house, or maybe their
A
life.
magical world. Well, it's really funny because working in the world of celebrity, there's the thing called an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So some of the best stuff that you would want to hear, I can't talk about.
Okay.
But it really, I mean, everybody's the same, whether it's, you know, some person in their little, you know, the single apartment in Hollywood who just showed up to whatever, or I'm literally getting the ghost of Aaron Spelling out of the Spelling Manor, of which I have done.
Did you do that?
Yes. I didn't even know where I was going because, again, they keep that very private sometimes. And if for those of you who are young who don't know, Aaron Spelling was the biggest producer in Hollywood throughout the whole 80s. He produced Fantasy Island, Love Boat, all the biggest. He was the TV god. Tori Spelling is his daughter. Candy Spelling was his wife. But he was this big mansion, the most expensive house in Los Angeles, the biggest house in Los Angeles, at least at the time. And it wasn't too long ago. Poor guy wouldn't leave his house after he died. So I'm there with the new owner, this beautiful young family with little kids, and they were keeping them up at night. They were keeping them. So we had to banish Aaron Spelling from the bedroom.
Oh, no. At least you could be hanging out in the wine
It's
cellar,
like, you
right?
don't live here anymore. You don't live here. And it was so funny because I literally, this person, I can't talk about who owned it, you practically had to go through like 14-person security and background check to get in there and to do this. And then the stuff that I'm having them do in the master bedroom was hysterical. With the bells, with the sage, with the this. Aaron, go home. Aaron, go back. Go back. Go to the light. Go to the
Do you know where you went? Did he like head down the street and check out the his favorite restaurant? Or,
yeah, he went to the studio. He went to his friend. No, he again, it's energy. There is no time and space on the other time. I've experienced that. But again, it's just that he was still wanting to claim that house. He didn't, it's funny because he didn't bother the wife or the children. It was just the man. I think he was sort of tired of women between Tori and Candy. And it's like, but no, the guy, wake up.
Hashtag Tori Spelling.
But
I mean, I grew up watching 90210, so.
That was pretty wild. I've literally dealt with spirits in like everything from the Phil Spector murder castle to just stuff I can't talk about. But usually there's this big world out there, everybody, this amazing world beyond what our three-dimensional, what we can see, what we can feel. Wake up that everybody has this intuition in our modern world. And I really think part of this whole virus, not getting political, is about waking back up. We became asleep at the wheel, phoned in, automatic pilot, and we can't be. This is life. Drink, eat, be happy.
Yeah,
drink it up. Yeah,
that's what we say all the time. Is that, at least in my world, you know, we have. If I'm very successful at in a career in wine, I might see 35 harvests, right? That because we have one shot every year at making a great vintage, and so for me, it's about every year is a story, and every year is a chance to go for it and to get it right and to do it well. And so in the world of wine, I'm going to translate what you just said is we wake up every year and we go, okay, how are we going to do this better? And how are we going to make this better? And I think that when we're through with this spell of our humanity, I think we'll have a chance to bring those spirits back to life. And I think everyone will feel very full and closer, hopefully a lot closer. So
I think it's going to be amazing, actually. Sadly, you know, a kind of high price, but financially, physically, and all that. But I think it's going to be such a raise of vibration. It's going to be brilliant for you guys. It's going to be brilliant for all of humanity.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Because we're waking up.
So I wanted to also just give you a chance. So we were lucky enough to find you and have you come on, and I really appreciate you coming on last minute. So where can people check you out? Where can they get in touch with you? And what's the best way for them to learn about ways that they can bring energy into their life?
Okay, find me at pattinegri.com, PATTINEGRI.com. I'm on all the social medias. Instagram is patty.negri for those of you who are there. And if you want to clear your own house, or going a little more detail, I have a book out. It's really simple. I honestly spent more time unwriting it than writing it, because I know how we are in like an old school MTV generation. It's fast.
Yes.
So it's easy, fast book. It's called Old World Magic for the Modern World. Tips, tricks, and techniques to empower and create a life you love. There is everything in here from how to clear your own house, how to protect yourself from negative energy, how to find love, how to lose weight, all those important things in life.
Yes. No, I mean, those are all the things we need right now, right? Like,
those are all the things we need. How to stay healthy, how to stay strong. We are amazing beings. In my years of working with people, I just say we are humans. We have free will, we have divinity, but we give away our power so often. So my little book and in life is about pulling your power back, because we are all superheroes.
You're a superhero because you helped me today. So thank you so much for coming into the Sonoma tasting room and showing me what to do. Even though we couldn't do it in person, I hope that we'll get a chance to do this in person soon. I'd love to meet you, to take you through the wines, either in LA or here in Sonoma.
The first place I am going, I am coming to you guys. I'm joining your club. I'm going. I have fallen in love with Walt Wine, so thank you.
Very
I'm there.
nice. Well, thank you very much. So yes, so please, it's PattiNegri.com.
PattiNegri.com. PATTINEGRI. Easy.
And check out tomorrow's Hall Instagram page. Catherine Hall will be on Instagram with George Papanopoulos, and I'm going to probably get beat up for mispronouncing that, so I apologize in advance, George. He will be talking about how to observe colors and take care of your own hair color. So he's a famous hairstylist that's coming on with Catherine tomorrow. So you'll have lots of tips and tricks for how to get out of the shelter in place and how to get your do back in order, which I think my wife's doing a pretty good job. Also, for those of you who are interested in sipping along with us, we have all of these wines on special for a limited time. Again, check out our sip series on waltwines.com. And I will be back on Thursday for another show, but on Facebook. So Patti, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for helping me out and making this place a more energetic tasting room. I look forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.
You will. You guys rock. Thank you.
Thank you.